Alright, welcome back everyone. In today's video, we're going to test out Ego's new 16-inch battery-powered chainsaws against these areca palms behind me here. As you can see here, they make a pretty good privacy hedge, but if you don't maintain them and prune them back regularly, they tend to take over. And I've been using these fold-up handsaws to prune, but I'm slowly losing the battle. So since these areca palm trees are basically a grass, they do quite well down here in the South Florida hot, wet summers, and they were outcompeting my pruning abilities with this manual handsaw, which gave me the excuse I needed to upgrade to this Ego 16-inch cordless chainsaw. And the 16-inch bar length on the Ego trimmer should be good for most household tasks in my area. It should get you about a 14-inch diameter cutting width on most types of branches, but like I said, I'm not really doing many woody type of trees. It's mostly palm trees and things like that. And the 16-inch line got some second-gen upgrades, so that's what the CS1611 model has on it. And we're going to go through some of those things in the video, but some of the big things that they tout is that it's got a 40cc gas-powered equivalent, and allegedly will get you about 150 cuts of like a 4x4 using the included 2.5 amp hour battery. So you get this nice generous cutting bar, which is 16 inches in length, which should get you through like a 14-inch branch without any problems. And in the rest of the review, we're going to go into some of the other upgrades like their toolless adjusting and the metal spike bars and things like that. And then in the back half of the video, we're going to do some test cuts on my areca palms outside, which I'm really excited to do given the heat advisories that I keep getting on my phone. And even though the Ego 1611 doesn't require gasoline, it does require bar chain oil, so be sure to pick some of that up from the store. So now we'll go ahead and unbox the Ego 1611 chainsaw and see what comes inside. So I've been holding back a long time on getting one of these. I did have a gas chainsaw at one point, but I've used it so occasionally, since I'm not up north where I have a lot of trees, you know, like I said, I just have palm trees, that it didn't make sense having to deal with storing gas and all that sort of stuff. So I'm really hoping that the Ego meets my needs today. So it looks like you have your manual, which I'm going to read thoroughly since it's probably one of the more dangerous Ego tools that I have, and a 2.5 amp hour 56 volt battery. This model also includes a charger. And the nice thing is if you own a lot of Ego tools like I do, you tend to accumulate these things and you've got a lot of battery power to go around for your various products. So here I have the 7.5 amp hour battery for the mower. Here's the 2.5 amp hour one for the Line IQ trimmer. I think I got this one for the edger, and maybe this one for the blower. So you can interchange these with all the Ego tools, which is really handy. All right, so coming back to the box, it looks like we have our chainsaw here wrapped in a plastic bag with some marketing materials. So again, they like to tell you that it does have the power of gas. And I've really found that to be the truth with the majority of their products so far, so we'll see if this chainsaw lives up to those claims as well. We'll take the chainsaw out of the bag now. Looks like there's already a little bit of lubrication that kind of leaked around. The Ego brushless motors are really battery efficient, so we should get a lot of cuts like it says. Here's our bar adjustment. So now let's take a look at the Ego chainsaw blade. So before we go ahead and use our Ego chainsaw, we have to fill it with oil. And the max oil indication is very handily placed on its side where you're supposed to have the Ego chainsaw when you're filling with oil. So this is the toolless oil cap, which you just raise up this little handle here and turn clockwise or counterclockwise. And you have a nice generous opening there that you shouldn't need any kind of funnel to fill. So if I stick a flashlight in here, it makes it a little bit easier to see where my fill level is. So we're right under max, so I'll call that done. So we'll go ahead and screw the lid back on. And one of the nice new features of the Ego CS1611 are these new included metal bucking spikes over the plastic ones that the previous model had on it. And flipping around to the other side, we have toolless adjustments for both the bar chain and the side cover. So before we use it, we should check the bar tension. So if the chain is too tight, you can turn the tensioner to the left. And according to the manual, if you can't turn the chain by hand, then it's too tight. So let's take off the kickback brake. And let's see how well we can turn the chain. So if we adjust it a little bit looser, theoretically that should become easier. But you don't want the chain to sag too much. So I'm going to tighten that up a little bit. The manual says you should have about a 1.3 millimeter sag, and there shouldn't be any binding when you freehand spin it. So now let's go ahead and attach the battery. So the included battery is a 2.5 amp hour battery, which they're claiming if you were testing this on a 4x4, you get like something like 130 cuts. There's a power meter that comes with the battery to let you know what your charge level is. When shipped from the factory, they don't come fully charged, so I'm going to go ahead and use one of my already charged Ego batteries from one of my other tools. You can see that this older one from 2017 does not include the power meter, but it's still going strong. So let's slide that battery onto the chainsaw now. All right, let's give it a shot. right, let's try this outside now. So as a first test, I'm going to try and get to some of these smaller branches, but I have to clear out the leaf jungle ahead of it. So I'm going to see actually if the chainsaw can clear out some of these smaller branches so that I can safely get at the thicker stalks first. So that worked pretty good. Went through really fast. So next I'm going to try one of these taller ones that are getting out of control, and as you can see, these areca palms can get up to be quite tall. Yeah, so as I said, quite tall and don't want it in the road. So now to chop it into smaller pieces for the garbage collectors. Just great weather today. As you can see from my shirt, it's just so cold. It's a great day to be out here. So we're gonna try next to take care of this clerodendron over here. It's a pretty tree, but it just kind of loses its mind and sends like water sprouts all over the bark. So we're gonna try and come in here and make this less ridiculous. All right, so the Ego chainsaw did a really good job on the clerodendron tree, taking off all the little water sprouts. We can now see the kind of interesting bark it has, and I'll go back and clean this up a little bit more later. You know, the other thing is the areca palms leave these kind of really ugly stumps, so you can either grind them out or cut them out. So I'm gonna try and cut them out with the chainsaw now. And that's where the longer bar, the 16-inch bar, comes in handy. Cutting palm trees is one of the problems that you get into with these chainsaws, where the side cover tends to eat all the weeds. So being able to take off the side cover easily is a nice thing on this model. And you should probably take the battery out before you do this. One of the nicer features that I want to show is that since you have this toolless side cover removal here, you can just easily unscrew it like this. And then you can get out all the palm tree gunk and clear this out so that your blade doesn't bind up on you. And then once you clean out any clogged green pulp and leaves, you just put the cover back on, pull up your little toolless handle, and tighten that back down. And then you're good to go again. So I've been using the Ego 1611 chainsaw over the better part of the week on the various trees around my house. And overall, I've been pretty happy with it. There's just a couple minor things that I'd like to mention. And the first one is that when I'm outside in very bright sun, especially wearing sunglasses, it's kind of hard to see in this window here where my oil line is. In the garage lights, it's a little bit easier to see. And the Ego chainsaw does seem to go through the bar chain oil pretty quickly, although the high oil use might be explained by the areca palms clogging the side cover area with so much pulp and debris. And then the last minor thing is that the safety button here tends to rub on the inner thumb quite a bit, even through safety gloves, so that was kind of annoying and irritating on the skin. And I found that you can push the Ego chainsaw pretty hard, and it does not slow down, but it does eat more battery. So I'd say of the Ego tools, it's probably up there with the blower where it's going to eat a lot of battery. So I'd recommend that if you're going to be doing a lot of landscaping, that you get 2 batteries so that when one depletes, you can just swap in the next one while the other one's charging. And if there were any other questions that you have that I didn't address in the review, please leave them in the comment section down below. And if you did enjoy the video, please let me know by clicking on the like button down below my video. And thanks for watching. As you can see, this is the chainsaw that we'll be using today. Yeah. That's gonna go in?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not.